You ever look at some guys and wonder, how do they do it? How do they just seem to conquer every challenge while other guys just seem stuck? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not about what they're born with. It's a story. A story of choices, of little habits, repeated day in and day out. Today, we're going to dive deep into the two paths these choices carve out and how they lead to two totally different lives.
So, let's get right to it. What really makes a man strong? I mean, really. It's so easy to get caught up thinking it's all about bulging muscles, or a fat bank account, or some fancy title. But honestly, the world has plenty of men. What it's really short on is strong men. You know, guys with that inner steel, that kind of strength you can't just see, you can feel it.
And this right here, this is the key. Weak men aren't born that way. Nope, they're made. They're actually forged by these tiny little habits that seem totally harmless, but they repeat them every single day. And guess what? The exact same thing is true for strong men. Every single thing you do over and over is either building you up or tearing you down. Think of it this way. Strength is a construction project. It's not something you're just handed at birth.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll hammer home that strength is a choice. Then we're diving into the inner world. That's all about mindset. After that, we'll see how that inner game plays out in the outer world of action. We'll look at the long game, and then wrap up with what's most important, your very first step.
Okay, let's start with a mental picture. Imagine two guys, right? They're standing at a crossroads, and every single day they're hit with dozens of tiny little decisions. Each choice they make, it's like taking a single step down one of two completely different paths. This isn't some big, dramatic, once-in-a-lifetime decision. No, it's 1,000 tiny choices that end up defining a whole lifetime.
So let's put some names to these paths, shall we? On one side, you've got the path of reaction. This is basically life on autopilot. You're just reacting, driven by whatever feels good, by impulse, and, let's be honest, by what everyone else thinks of you. But on the other side, that's the path of intention. This is a life you build on purpose. It's guided by discipline, a real sense of purpose, and your own internal growth. These are the two roads we're going to walk down today.
And you know what? It all starts on the inside. Long before you do anything, you choose a mindset. So this first set of habits, it's all about that internal landscape, the thoughts, the beliefs, the very foundation of who you are.
Okay, habit number 1, embrace discomfort. The guy on the path of reaction, he lives for comfort. He loves that soft bed, the mindless entertainment, avoiding that tough conversation. But the man on the path of intention, he gets it. He understands a core truth. Discomfort is basically a gym for your character. That cold shower, learning a skill that makes your brain hurt, having to speak up when it's scary, he doesn't see those as punishments. Man, that's just training.
All right, next up, habit number 2, taking full 100% responsibility. When something goes wrong, the man on the first path immediately points the finger. Oh, the system's rigged. My boss is a moron. It's just my bad luck. And yeah, it might feel good for a second, but it leaves him totally powerless. Now the guy on the other path asks a completely different question, a way more powerful question. Okay, what could I have done better? You see that? That little shift from blame to ownership? Man, that's everything. It's literally the difference between being a passenger and being the captain of your own ship.
And that brings us to habit number 3. It all comes down to what you're chasing. Are you chasing validation, or are you chasing growth? Think about it. One guy's confidence is like a roller coaster. It shoots up with every like and every compliment, then plummets with any criticism. The other guy, he's building his confidence on solid ground, on progress. He's not worried about, do they like me? He's asking himself, am I better today than I was yesterday?
So once you get that inner world sorted, it naturally starts to build a strong outer world, which brings us to our next section, action and discipline. This is where the rubber meets the road, where that mindset turns into real, actual results you can see and feel.
Let's be real. Motivation is a terrible employee. It shows up when it wants, takes long lunches, and disappears when you need it most. The guy on the path of reaction, he only works when his motivation decides to clock in, and we all know that's a recipe for disaster. The strong man, though, he knows better. He doesn't rely on motivation. He builds systems, routines, schedules, habits that are totally non-negotiable. He makes progress whether he feels like it or not. His success isn't tied to his mood. It's locked into his system.
Oh, a life is going to test you, for sure. When the pressure's on, the reactive guy, he just blows up. He panics. He makes terrible decisions fueled by anger or fear.
But the intentional man, he's got a superpower. It's emotional control. Look, he feels the exact same stress, but he does something incredible. He creates this tiny little gap, a buffer zone, between the trigger and his response. And in that little bit of space, he chooses calm over chaos. That control, that's a game-changing advantage in life.
This chart really says it all, doesn't it? This is habit number 6, protecting your time. Time, it's the one thing you can never, ever get back. For the guy on the path of reaction, time is something you just spend, or even worse, something you try to kill. It just vanishes down a black hole of mindless scrolling and complaining. But the strong man, he sees time in a whole new light. For him, time is something you invest. Before he says yes to anything, he asks himself one simple question: is this actually moving me forward?
And this quote nails habit number 7, quiet execution. You know the type? The guy on the left, he loves to talk about all the big things he's gonna do. The guy on the right, he can't talk right now. He's too busy building them. He just gets that talk is cheap. While everyone else is posting about their new hustle, he's quietly putting in the reps. And at the end of the day, execution will always, always drown out intention.
All right, now we're moving into the final stretch. This set of habits is all about the long game. These aren't quick fixes. These are the things that when you do them for years, they don't just change what you do, they change who you are. They forge your identity and build the resilience you need for the storms that are definitely coming.
Let's be honest, nobody likes to fail. It stinks. For the guy on the reactive path, failing is the end of the story. It's proof that he should just give up. It's a brick wall. But for the man of intention, wow, it's a totally different story. Failure isn't a dead end. It's data. It's information. It's just a lesson. Every single mistake is just a clue telling him how to do it better the next time. And that mindset, that right there, makes him pretty much unstoppable.
You know, society has this pre-packaged path for us, right? Go to school, get the job, check the boxes. It's safe. It's predictable. And the man on the path of reaction, he just hops on that conveyor belt and doesn't ask any questions. But the strong man, the man of intention, he has the guts to hit the emergency stop button, step off that belt, and ask a really scary, really honest question. Hold on, is this the life I actually want? It's not about being a rebel for the sake of it. It's about having the courage to consciously design your own life.
And that brings us to the last one, habit number 10. And this is the one that most guys will do anything to avoid because it is seriously uncomfortable. It's self-reflection. It's about turning off the phone, looking yourself in the mirror, and asking the really hard questions. Where am I just wasting my life? What's holding me back? It is so much easier to just stay busy, to keep scrolling, but all real growth, I mean all of it, starts with that honest, sometimes brutal, self-awareness. So, there you have it. We've walked through the 10 habits and the 2 completely different paths they lead to. One path is easy right now, but it's paved with regret later on. The other path, it's harder day to day, no doubt, but it leads to a life of real strength and fulfillment. And now, the story pivots, and it's about you.
Okay, let's do a quick-fire recap of that blueprint for the path of intention. Ready? You embrace discomfort. You take responsibility. You chase growth, not validation. You build systems. You control your emotions. You protect your time. You execute quietly. You learn from every failure. You create your own path. And you never, ever shy away from self-reflection.
Look, just knowing this stuff is the first step. So as you look at this list, be honest with yourself. Which one of these just jumped out at you? Which one made you a little uncomfortable? You don't need to fix all 10 by tomorrow. Forget that. Just pick one. What is the one habit that you are going to start working on today? Because at the end of the day, that's all it comes down to. Every single strong man you admire, he started exactly where you are right now. The only difference? At some point, he just decided. He decided to get better. One small habit. One single choice at a time. The path is there. Now it's up to you to start building.